All right, everyone. Remember Shiva Ayyadurai? I actually interviewed the man. He's running for the Senate. He's running against Elizabeth Warren. He has, a campaign slogan that I don't know if I could repeat it actually on YouTube without, getting sandboxed or something. But just look him up. You can look up his campaign website and stuff. I like him. He was part of that hate rally in Boston that you heard so much about. He was flanked by like Bernie Sanders supporters and a couple people from I think Greenpeace. And, he's of Indian ancestry. But somehow they thought he was alt-right. They thought that he was a white nationalist despite the more obvious reality behind it. He was holding another rally the other day. And he had his little megaphone and he's, talking about, Elizabeth Warren sucks and you should vote for me instead. And, the Dems are crazy. And some old kind of like hippie-ish looking dude. He looks like the stereotypical sort of person that was listening to Fish back in the day when they were new music or something. Comes over and he's ranting. I guess it was an Elizabeth Warren fan, I'm going to assume. And he tries to push the blowhorn or megaphone or whatever it is into Shiva's face. A couple of his fans knock the dude to the ground, and then the cops come and grab hippie dude and take him away. And she was like, well, here we see a racist. Elizabeth Warren has racist fans. And I thought, even though it may seem like absurdism, if the roles were reversed, if a progressive, Ocasio-Cortez were on the corner saying, I'm campaigning, blah, 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 socialism for everyone, social democracy is great, and somebody wearing a MAGA hat were to do that, and this happened. Absolutely, every media outlet would be reporting on it. Political violence among Trump's fans. Right-wingers are highly violent. They are horrible people, and, if we don't vote against them, pretty soon they'll have lynch mobs on every street corner, and the Klan will openly parade through every town in America, and, Hitler will come back, people will be getting swastika tattoos and stuff. That's what they would be reporting. But because it's Shiva, very, very difficult for the Democrats to counter this because he's of Indian ancestry. And if you look at the sort of things he believes in, he's not like far out there, and he's got an incredible acumen when it comes to academics. Inventor of email, kind of, sorta. He's explained this, but yeah, he kind of is, after a fashion. You look at this situation. And nobody's going to report on it. They're not going to report on political violence among the left dedicated towards bashing people who have the MAGA hat or vote for Shiva or whatever. And Elizabeth Warren, by the way, Elizabeth Warren herself is, basically engaged in bigotry, cultural appropriation. The left's constantly talking about it. They never aim it at her. They want her to run for the presidency. I think that would be a shit show. I think if she were to run, Trump would tear her down so quickly it would be legendary. There are some Democrats that could at least put up a fight. Even Joe Biden would put up more of a fight. And the dude may be wheelchair bound by then because he's going to be fucking pushing 80 years old. So keep that in mind. Elizabeth Warren, not your best shot at it. There are other people in the Democratic Party that are kind of talented. The problem is, I've noticed this. This is a little off topic, but I've got to say it. If you look at a list of the 10 most likely Democrats to be the next challenger of Trump or whatever, we think this Democrat will be the best. If you look at the list, more than half of them are geriatric, and all of them are outdated insofar as their style, the things they believe in. There are no actual progressives on there other than Sanders, who keeps getting put on the list despite being disqualified because he's not even a Democrat. They're fucking one of the major standard bearers of the Democratic Party, according to late Democrats in polling, would be someone who's not even from their party. He's got an I after his name. Isn't that hilarious? The Democrats have so little talent they have to import people from other political affiliations. What's next? Are you going to have Gary Johnson run as a Democrat? Is Jill Stein, are you going to pay her money to switch parties so that she can run and save your asses? Shiva would be classed slightly as an oddball candidate due to his campaign strategy, but if you listen to what he actually believes in, it's not really out there. He is a mainline candidate. He's not an extremist. And to endorse the concept of attacking somebody because they're campaigning and they make up a witty slogan about the person I guess you like politically is just asinine. Again, this would be all over the news. if this were a Democratic candidate. If this were a liberal candidate, maybe not just a mainline, maybe not like a Clintonian Democrat, not unless they were well known. If you had a decently well-known sort of third wheel progressive or socialist candidate, oh, we want more welfare, we need, Social Security, we've got to save it, we've got to increase unemployment or whatever, raise the minimum wage. Universal health care for everyone. Free shit, dude. Trust me, I won't have to raise your taxes. We'll just print more money. Basically a Venezuelan Maduro strategy. Some of these people seem to think that's viable, which really, really scares me to think of them being in power, because then you end up with a Great Depression. If someone like that were campaigning, they're on the street, they're not bothering anyone, they're not attacking anyone, they're just standing there speaking their mind, perfectly lawful. And someone in a MAGA hat, or some muscle-bound dude waving a Bible around comes up and punches them or shoves the bullhorn in their face, it's all over the news. And we've seen it before. But then remember during the campaign, like in Chicago, when a bunch of liberals were attacking Trump fans, and they were throwing rocks and jumping around doing crazy shit? Didn't really get reported on that much. It was kind of in the news for a day, and half the reports are like, what? Well, yeah, but things can get a little edgy because these MAGA hat people are racist, they're bigots, and so, we're not saying it's justified. We're not saying that. No, violence is wrong, but we can kind of understand it. So, dog whistle, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We're in on the joke. That's what they've been doing. It's political intimidation. This is the kind of tactics you see in Venezuela. This is the kind of tactics that you see in a third world country. A fucking tin horn dictatorship. A de facto dictatorship. Yeah, you got a right to vote. There's one person on the ballot. Like a Saddam Hussein figure, or admittedly a Bashar al-Assad. Hell, I think Bashar al-Assad is more of a lover of democracy at this point than some of the Democrats. That should worry the Democrats. Should worry the ones that are saying they should be part of the walk-away movement. That Russian op. The Russians infiltrated the NRA because they're very worried that Americans won't have enough firepower to repel communist invasion. What fucking sense does any of this make? It's like the political situation right now. When people look at like Trump and they say, well, that's absurd. Or they look at Shiva or some other outsider candidate. Someone who's not part of basically the neocon core of the Republican Party or the neo-lib core of the Democrats. And they say that's absurd. No, I see the establishment is absurd. These people they're constantly sword rattling for war, and they think that the deep state is great. All of a sudden, they've convinced some American people that they should just mindlessly trust opaque government agencies as though they were benevolent. They've actually gotten soccer moms to believe that. I mean, you got to be nuts to believe them. Doesn't make any sense at all. So I oppose all political violence. I wouldn't want to see the most furthest left candidates attacked either. We've got to condemn that as a society. Do we really want to live like again, Venezuela or something? No, I don't want to live in that kind of country. People need to leave each other alone. The best way to do that is have an appreciation for the First Amendment as well as the Fourth, and we wouldn't maybe have some of these deep state problems with the unaccountable FISA court. But I think that I would endorse Shiva because I think he's a better person than Elizabeth Warren. His fans aren't attacking people. It's a little bit tongue-in-cheek because there's always some degree of political violence situationally. It's not just all people on the left, admittedly so. But it is funny to see old white hippie dude attempting to attack Shiva, and who's reporting on it? Nah, not really anybody. You have to go on YouTube and see the alt media. We're the only ones who will talk about it. See, we're the actual journalists these days. That's about all. Peace out.